Alright, so this time I'm going to tell you about money in platformer games. Specifically like Mario games and how they're used. This time I'm not going to tell you to not do it. Actually, you should do it. Like coins in like money in like platformer games, really cool. Like, it's actually really interesting how different Mario games use money. But before I tell you about that, I do want to once again give you a little bit of an addendum to the last video. Yeah, I had so much more to tell, like to say about stores. It's really weird. Like I just drew a blank. Like once I start talking, all the stuff I want to talk about just like disappears from my mind. But anyway, really like the problem with stores is a lot of the time, they're just like, again, like a solution to a problem they created. Like they're just a place for you to dump your items. Because in a lot of games, designers tend to like throw a lot of stuff at the player. A bunch of swords, different kind of magical items. Especially in like a looter game, it's like, oh, here's a bunch of guns. Okay, well, is this gun better than the gun I had before? Well, a lot of the time it isn't. Sometimes it's like different. Like, especially in Dark Souls, it's like, you pick up so many of the same weapons, of the same enemies, those really weak enemies where it's like, oh, look, a broken sword. Okay, I already have like 5. I guess, I can, if I, there's like different upgrades to do, but you don't really want to do those. Like the unique items, the boss items, those weapons, you might want to have like a unique one, like a different enchantment or something. But otherwise, you really don't care. So you'll end up picking all the stuff and then you just need to get rid of it. So whatever, just sell it to a store for like some money. Okay, well, why don't you just give me money? It's like, we can't just give them money because that's boring. It's just so boring. And like in other games, what they do, it's like, oh, we don't want to give the player we want to have like a chest, but we don't want to have it money inside. Like in Pokemon, it's like, oh, and you find a nugget. And then you gotta go to the shop and sell it, or you'll find like a mushroom, or you'll find some other like sellable item, like an item that only exists for you to sell. And then okay, I'm just gonna sell it. Okay, what's the point of that? It's not interesting. You're just making me jump through some hoops. Even like games like Pokemon, like selling items is often like necessary just to because you only have limited backspace in the earlier games, and you got like an item, you got like the storage in the PC, but like once those became infinite, why would I sell stuff? Just get some extra money. Like, oh, I'm out of money. I better sell some of those revives I bought so I can buy like an Ultra Ball or 2. It's like, I'm just gonna get half my money from what I paid. It's just not fun. And then you might say, okay, well, what if I save it, right? Like, what if I got the money? What if I got the item? Because then I can wait to sell it until my speech skill is higher. Maybe, but then you have this whole chest full of stuff. Then you need to sell it all, and that's like in Starfield. It's like, oh, I need to sell my stuff, but I can only carry so much. Okay, well, I guess I can wait for my speech skill to be higher. But by that time, you don't even need money anymore. So who cares? It's so lame. And like in Pokemon Black and White, they had like a guy who was like, oh, I'm gonna pay you double for your nuggets and your big nuggets. And yeah, okay, that's nice. I guess you can save up your stuff for that. But it's just not interesting. Like, and that's really the problem, is how do you make that interesting? And one game that I found actually very interesting. I was playing the first Legend of Zelda. I was trying to beat it without looking things up. Very interesting. They actually give some good hints. But one thing I found really interesting is in the first dungeon you find the bow, and the arrows you have to buy, but you have to buy them for 80 rupees. Okay, I buy arrows for 80 rupees, but every time I need arrows I need to pay 80 rupees because that's a lot. Well, no, because it's infinite arrows, except shooting an arrow costs a rupee. Yeah, and that's really interesting the way money works in that game. Is the money only goes up to 255. Because that's the highest number you can save in a byte. Like in Pokemon you got the 1 in 255 glitch. 1 in 255 chance that the move just misses, even if it's 100% chance to hit right. It's like a programming thing, right? But that's actually a nice amount. Because that's still more than you start out with. Like in Ocarina of Time, it's like, oh, you have a maximum of 99 rupees. Okay, now need to get the upgrade. And before that, I can just not buy stuff. Or I'll find all these rupees and I can't carry them. You know, it's like, you know, you're playing Wind Waker and that's like 200, the starting maximum cap. And then you get like, oh, you find a chest. Oh, look, it's 200 rupees. Oh, wait, you were full. Now the 200 rupees go nowhere. It sucks, you know? But by having kind of like, that's kind of the problem when you have like upgradable money bags. It's like there's all this stuff they want you to buy, but like, no, you're not supposed to buy it now. It sucks. But when you just have this cap, that's also not too high, because you don't want to have it be too high. Because that way, you know, the player keeps spending money. Because it's like, you know, I got all this money, what am I going to spend on? Well, you can spend on keys, actually, because keys are like really loose in the first Legend of Zelda, which is actually kind of cool. You know, like you can miss keys, you can save keys from other dungeons. You know, even blowing holes into walls can save your keys. It's really cool, actually. And so, like the player, what they will do, because the arrows are really strong. You know, they don't work on all enemies, but they have long range. They deal a bunch of damage. They can kill pulse voices, like they just cut right through them. Like seriously, like this, like three or four. You can they just go through them and kill them all in one hit. Amazing. But then Dark Nuts are immune. So it's like, it's not OP, but it's very powerful. But it does give you this power. So it's like if you have a lot of money, the player can just use that extra money to kind of splurge for damage. And then it's really good because it's like a limit, you know, like, but it means money is always useful. And that's what I find really interesting. Is really the point is about giving the player choices. Because it's kind of like in the Metro series, which is like a survival horror game series, where in that game, bullets are money. You can buy stuff with bullets, but bullets are your only defense. Every bullet you shoot, that's less money you have, right? So you can even have like more powerful bullets that are like worth like, you can buy like weak bullets with the powerful bullets, I guess. You know, but in that game you also don't have like a sword to back you up. So it's very much like you just don't want to kill that many things. But you know, that's interesting because it means that money is never worthless. And that's really important, I think. You know, give players like interesting choices so that stuff is never useless. And that's, you know, even like kind of like Castlevania 2, you know, like there too, money was ammo, you know, you could throw like crystal balls that would bounce across the screen. You know, those sub-items weren't very good, but the fire was really good, you know, but it cost hearts. You know, so if you had like a lot, you know, it didn't work very well there. But in Legend of Zelda, I actually thought it worked very well. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about today. Instead, we're going to talk about platformers. Yeah, I've got a bunch of games here. Really just only like Mario games, like the Game Boy Mario games, and the Wario Land games. Okay, so this is a completely different discussion, but it's still about money. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So in the first Super Mario Brothers, you had like coins, right? And what is the point of coins? Well, the first point is that if you have 100 of them, you get an extra life. Which in the first Super Mario Brothers, extra lives are really important. You know, in these older games, like they're really important because the game's kind of tough, right? You know, if you die, you have to start all the way from the beginning, and there's no continues. You do have like a code, like A, B start or something, and you've got the warp zones. But let's say we leave all of that out. In that case, lives are fundamental. You need as many lives as you can get. So you need to get coins. Well, how do you get them? Well, the first is they're just kind of floating in the air. Okay, but that's not in every level. There's only very few levels where they're like floating in the air. And in those levels, it's actually kind of risky to get them. Like there were times when I played it where I would be like, oh, let me get these coins. And then, you know, I end up dying. And you die, you lost a life because you got 3 coins in order to get an extra life. It's not worth it. It's not. So, what else do you do? Well, another way to get coins is that there'll be those coin blocks, you know, the ones where like you gotta hit them multiple times. And those blocks, they're like the best thing ever. You know, like usually it's like, oh, who cares about this? Nobody cares. Fuck these blocks. But no. In the first Super Mario Bros., it's like, oh my god, look at this. I found one. It's like 10 coins. And it's really easy to get them as well. It's so easy. And the same thing like with finds. You know, if you find like a secret find, it goes up and you go get a bonus room. And it's like, oh wow, look at all these coins. Or you go down into a pipe, it gets even more coins. Or you might just find an actual extra life. But the only way to find all of that is to go and hit every block. And I find that is a really good way to make players explore. Because let's say that all that stuff wasn't there. Wasn't there. Well, in that case, the best thing to do is to just kind of rush through. But then the players they're not really interested in the level design, are they? And that's kind of what all those coins do, all those secrets, is if you explore every block, then you find secrets, you find money, you find one-ups. So they really explore the whole game. And that's really important, because also in like Super Mario Bros. 3, like there's P-switches. And that means that sometimes you don't want to get coins, because you might need them to make a ladder. Or sometimes you might need to jump over the P-switch and first like get rid of some coins that are forming like a wall. So you can still go through once the wall is gone. That's interesting. It makes players like, and there's so many hidden P-switches in that game. There's tons of them. There's so many like coins hidden everywhere. It makes players explore, because otherwise they're just gonna rush through. Because the more time you spend in a level, especially when you're like trying to grab those like singular coins, it's dangerous. Because enemies are flying at you. There's fish jumping here. There's bullet bills. That's kind of like why people don't like auto scrollers, because it makes players go slower, and that's dangerous. You don't want to spend a lot of time in those levels, but if you explore, if you take it slow and you find secrets, then it's good. It's advantageous to spend more time in the game rather than just trying to get it over with. Of course, in newer games, coins are way more common. Getting the top of the flagpole, of course, gets you one up. The one ups are just thrown at the players. Because it's really not much. It's not about really being difficult anymore. Because when you get a game over, you just you don't lose any progress. And that's good. It's less punishing. It's better for modern games. But it does make the coins, like the whole one-up thing is like really pointless. It's kind of like, it's just kind of there to be there. On the other hand, though, it's still sort of fun, because it is sort of fun to just get coins on its own, because getting coins is satisfying. It is, like you're just kind of grabbing all those coins. If it's like a really big coin, or like it makes like a cool sound, it's kind of cool to get coins. One-ups, finding secrets. It's more about the intrinsic stuff. Right? It's less extrinsic. Like you don't need it anymore, but it's extra. It's to show off. Like, look how many one-ups I got. It's like in Super Mario 3D Land, if you had like maximum, which like all crowns, they had these crowns when you get like to 999 and stuff. Then you get like Mario would his cap would be off. That's kind of cool. That's like something you can do. Yeah, of course you had also New Super Mario Bros. 2, where they just had coins everywhere. It's like, it was like an experiment, because that's kind of cool for like one game. It's interesting. But, I didn't play that game because, like kind of, way too many 2D Mario games. So we're all done with that. But it's kind of interesting. It does make, when there's like a number, like a huge number going up, it's like, yeah, we're kind of over. But what makes it really important is that you can also make that like a challenge. Because, especially in Super Mario Maker, where coins really don't matter, you can maybe have like, if you have like a challenge, like let's say there's like an easy pad, but there's a hard pad, and the hard pad has a bunch of coins. That's kind of like a confirmation of your achievement of doing the hard pad. Because like, if you do a puzzle or you get through a platforming thing, if there's nothing there at the end, it's like, well, why am I here? But if there's like a coin, even like a singular coin, it's like, okay, I got the coin. That's like my achievement. That's proof, right? Like, you might even do a challenge with like, I'm going to get every coin in the game, or I'm going to do a speed run, get every coin, because sure, you can make stuff up. It's kind of like if your friends are like, first to the bench wins. And like, well, what's at the bench? What do we do with this bench? You can sit on it, but it's an achievement. We're setting this goal. That's what you're doing. You're putting these coins over there, and it's just a goal. It's something for the players to see. Like, let's go over there. And that works really well. But another thing that coins do is they guide the player, right? Because let's say, because sometimes maybe there's like especially on Game Boy, the player might not be able to see what's below. So then like, okay, where's the platform? The designer's like, well, we don't want to just have like a bunch of like platforms where it's like, oh, you got to jump here and you got to jump here and that's boring. So, we'll just have them do a leap of faith, but make it fair. Put like a little trail of coins. So it's like, oh, I'm just going to follow the coins. Whoop, I'm safe. It was kind of like, it's kind of like tents. There's some tents, and you can kind of troll them like that. Have like spikes there. That's always funny, right? But it is, it is like they are taking like a chance, but you aren't being unfair about it. That's kind of cool. Or sometimes, like let's say you're platforming, right? Like you're going to here to left, and then there's like a bunch of like falling platforms. The ones where let's say you got a platform here, you got a platform here, you got a platform here. Now what they're supposed to do is go up, but let's say they're just jumping up and they try getting on the top one, right? They might not be able actually to make it. So then they land on the bottom part. Okay, well, because they were here, they couldn't see this one. They might actually immediately try to jump up, which doesn't work. And then they end up falling, and then the bottom platform falls away, and then they're screwed. So instead, you get a coin trail. So they jump in, see the coin trail, they jump here, and then after that, they might jump through into like a pit. But so instead what you do is you put the coin trail over here, and they're like, okay, I'm going to go up here, and then they can suddenly see there's a platform above. And then they might they'll just jump to that platform, and then there's another one. And so you can kind of guide them. And that really works really well. Because it's just, that's the thing they do. Like you can probably read like a Nintendo game design folder, but I don't know where they don't release those. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, what was really funny? That Lord of the Rings Gollum game they made? I was watching like gameplay of that, and I was like, if this was a 3D like collectathon, that would be so much better. Because like Gollum, he has to climb all these vines, right? There's be like a wall, and it's just like this square, this huge square. But he's only really going through he's like here, and there's like this huge square, and he just goes over the vines to the other side. And I'm like, what they should have done is put some coins at the bottom, so there's like a reason for the player to kind of go down there. And I'm like ding ding, oh ching ching ching, oh I got some coins. Well, that's cool, Or maybe there'd be like a platform, and it'd be like a really small like ledge, and at the end there'd be like a big coin, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna put myself in some danger because I might fall off. But then, I'm going to be really careful. I'm going to grab the coin. And it's like, yes, I got a coin. And that's what a lot of those 3D platformers were like in the N64 era, GameCube era, where it was like really cartoonish, like got like a Hobbit game or something, but it was like fun, but like Lord of the Rings Gollum, they were trying to be realistic. And like, this is like a good reason why realistic is often not good. Because then, it gives you information. Having those coins there just kind of floating and spinning, it helps. It's unrealistic, but it's something, it's like, it's some way to guide the player. Like, hey, try walking on this really narrow ledge, that's like kind of exciting. I'm not just climbing over freaking vines. So it's like, oh, now climb up here, now climb up there, now climb, it's like, like people use like vines or paint to show where the player has to jump. And it's like, okay, that's nice, but there's no creativity. There's no choice. I don't get to make a decision because I'm just going up the way I was supposed to go. It's not like, oh, do I go up the easy way or do I try to get this coin that's kind of hard to get? That's a good question to ask. Like maybe I don't care, maybe I do care. I want to have that extra. I'm bored. I want to have that extra challenge. That's a good thing they should have done. But now. Oh, okay. So Super Mario 64, I have Super Mario 64 on my list here to talk about. Honestly, not too exciting because it's just a different kind of like goal, right? Because it's like, oh, get 100 coins, get a star. Get 8 red coins, get a star. Blue coins really help you. Like, the timer where it's like you press the button and you get like a timer. Oh, get the blue coins. They're worth a lot of coins. And that's kind of like a good way to like have different like goals, because then. And that's really one really good thing with the whole life thing. Because when your coins reach 100, you just get a life. And sure, your lives can max out, which that's kind of like a problem. But not in the first Super Mario Bros. Because that game's really tough, And then when you win, it just resets. Those Neo Mario games, they just keep going. And you just have this save file that's just completed. It's like, I got maximum lives, who cares? But having it reset like that, it means that players can always keep getting coins. There's no limit. And there's also not like a number where it's like, oh, I've got 5 million coins. Okay. Should I try getting 6 million? No, who cares? Just, like have it like roll over, whatever, like it means that coins are always like, because when you do get 100, it's like a different sound. That's kind of cool. But now we get into Super Mario Land games. And that is where stuff gets really interesting. Because if you haven't played like the Super Mario Land and Wario Land games, they're really weird. Like weird shit happens in those games. Also with money. It's really funny actually. But yeah, the first Super Mario Land is pretty standard, right? Just coins. It's Super Mario Brothers on the go. But that is one of the first games where they did where you had like the top of the flagpole and the bottom, but you had like those doors, and you had those like you had to go on the falling platforms. You've got to the top one. You had this little mini game where you had to press A at the correct time, and then Mario would go like up the ladder, down the ladder, and you get extra lives. Okay, so now you've like you're actually rewarding players for getting the top. That's good, right? But in Super Mario Land 2, that's where stuff gets really weird, and I don't know what they were getting at there. One fun thing though is that one-ups are not mushrooms in those games; they're hearts. Because Game Boy, it's black and white. They can't really have red and green mushrooms. Especially in Super Mario Land, everything was very small in that game, which I don't really mind. But Super Mario Land 2 is where everything got a lot bigger. Mario was actually, you could see his face better. Mushrooms and hearts are bigger. Everything's bigger. Everything's like zoomed in. The worlds are bigger. But, the game's really well designed, so it never feels like you're making a leap of faith. But what's interesting is in that, also, if you got a checkpoint, there was like a bell. You had like a bell, and then you got like a checkpoint. And at the end level, there was also like a bell that was like hanging high. And if you hit that, you got like a mini game. And I think there were like multiple. Like one of them was like just a crane, where you just like grab the crane, you got like a power up, an extra life. Okay, but you also could get, of course, you had coins. But the coins, when you got maximum coins, you didn't get 100 coins in an extra life. Instead, coins went up to 999. Yeah, it was weird. And also, you had all these secret levels. And really, secrets in that game was really weird. Because sometimes you just had to be like a correct size. So it's like, you need to have a power-up, but not like a fire flower or something. It's really weird. Sometimes you need a fire flower, sometimes you need to be small. And then sometimes it was like, I would come to these blocks and be like, oh shit, I need to have this specific power-up. But I don't have that. So I'm gonna die so I can get a different power-up. So that's what I would do. And I would respawn, I would get there, I would get in that pipe, and it'd just be extra lives in that room. It was really weird. Like, oh, I guess I can make up for the life I lost. But then there were also secret exits, which would lead to bonus levels. And one thing that was really annoying is that you could 100% the game by getting every single secret bonus level, right? I'm pretty sure I got them all. The game says I didn't. And the annoying thing is you can only replay those levels after you've already you can only replay them by getting the exit again. So it's really hard to figure out which one you missed. I don't know which one I missed. I don't know what's going on. But these levels were also filled with coins, right? So what would happen is the coins, I just collect them, and then suddenly, like, I had plenty of lives. The game's not hard. It's actually really easy. So I end up getting maximum coins. And what you're supposed to do with those is you're supposed to take them to like this little cave at the beginning of the map, where there are slot machines. Yeah, and these aren't like those these are very generous. These are like very, not like gambling designed. Not like in casinos. They're just like random. Full random. Okay, so they've got the multiple ones depending on how many coins. So you got like a 50 coin, 100 coin, like 100, 250, 500, 999. So, of course, I take them to the 999 one. And there, the prices are like 10 lives, 20 lives, or 500 coins. So what happens? So you have to imagine 999 coins. In a regular Mario game, that's 10 lives. That's just what it is. It's 10 lives. Here it can be 20. Or you can get the 500 coins. So what happens if you get the 500 coins? You just go next door to the 500 coin casino. And in there, it's like, okay, you can get like 10 lives, 5 lives, 250 coins. And of course, I got the 20 coin. I got plenty, I had plenty of lives. I had like 50 lives by the end of the game. It was ridiculous. And even if you get the 250, well, then you just go to the next one. And what's the point of this? Why don't I just get live? Why doesn't it just roll over? Like, oh, you got 100, boing, extra life. It didn't matter. And the craziest part is this game, it's not hard, right? The hardest part is the final level, because what's going on in the story, which is really weird, because first game, Mario saves Daisy. Okay, this one he has a castle. And then Wario takes over his castle. And then he needs to find the 6 golden coins. Okay, then you need to go through the castle. But in this castle is right next to the cave. It's right next to the beginning. It's right there. Thing is, this castle does not have a midway point. It doesn't have a checkpoint. So if you die, you go right back to the beginning. This means that extra lives are useless. Because if you get a game over, you just go back to the title screen and you just load up your save and you just walk right back up to the castle. I don't know, that's how it works. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. Lives are useless. Yeah, I don't know, like it's a tough final level. Although it's really funny, because Wario, this is the first time Wario was in a game, right? And he actually uses the fire flower, he uses like the bunny ears, you know. But when he loses, he actually turns into tiny Wario. Because you got like Mario and you got Super Mario when he has the super mushroom. Don't understand how that works, you know, like is the tiny Mario, is that the regular Mario? Where it's like, oh, I'm from Brooklyn, hey, mamma mia! Pasta! To the spaghetti! I don't know. I don't know how that works. But that's like funny because that Wario, the tiny Wario, only shows up in this game. In Wario Land 1, like Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land. In Wario Land 2, where it's like one of the transformations. And then it shows up in WarioWare sometimes. And he does look really cute, like this form. So really, I wish they would do it more. But the funny thing is, like, so he turns into this tiny Wario, right? And then he throws his shoe, his little genie shoe at Mario's face, and he just jumps out the window. Yeah, he does. I don't know. And then the castle just magically returns to like its original state because the Wario turned it into a platforming level. I don't know. But that's kind of like the story of Super Mario Land 2. It's fun. You see, it's kind of like a weird situation because, you know, like Luigi's always getting money in like Luigi's mansion, right? And Mario's missing, he gets money. He gets his own mansion. Mario gets the whole castle. I don't know. But then in Mario Land 1, Super Mario Land 3, things get even weirder. This time, Mario's enemy is this pirate captain called Captain Syrup. And she has this whole brigade of like ducks and little guys with spears. And she has this pirate ship, the SS Teacup. And Wario, like, he actually wears like this safari hat throughout the whole game. Like, you know, they really have something against Wario just like dressing in yellow and wearing his own cap. Even in the Wario Land games, he has like his colors are like white. But it's like more like of a limitation. I don't know. But yeah, so they arrive, like Wario is on this boat and he arrives at this island. And this is where Captain Syrup has her home base. So Wario goes through all these levels. And the weird thing is like one of the worlds, one of the like places he goes to is Sherbet Land. Which is like, that's like a level in Mario Kart Double Dash. So is that the Sherbet Land from Wario Land? I don't know, like... But what's going on with coins here is, of course, Wario is like platforming around. You know, he collects coins. It's really weird because you got these 5 games. You got Super Mario Land 1, 2, 3, which is also Wario Land 1. Then you got Wario Land 2, Wario Land 3, and then like Wario Land 4. That's like where the games like suddenly turn different. But all these, it's as if Wario Land 1, it's as if they knew what was going to happen in the future. And it's like right in between. It's like in between Wario Land and Super Mario Land. It really is. Like that's how the game design feels. Like the level design, you know, like Wario has lives, he takes damage, he has power-ups. You know, but he also has a shoulder bash, he can throw enemies. It's very interesting. And it's a good game, you know, it's really fun. But one thing that's really weird, and I don't get this. I do not understand this. And then the level, like in the first level, you get to the end, and there's this, and you see this enemy throw a coin into the exit, and then it like opens up and he goes in. Okay, what was that about? Well, in the next level, that exit is still closed. The exit is closed. So I actually got stuck. I didn't know what to do. Like, what's going on here? Well, what you're supposed to do, what you were supposed to get out of that, is that if you press up, Wario puts his arm up. And he actually does this. And then if you press B, you know, it's like in Castlevania, right? Like up plus B. He gets a giant coin, which costs 10 coins. It costs 10 coins to get this coin. And he has to throw it in the exit. And it opens it up. And I don't understand this. Because that's the only purpose. It can be used in attack. It cannot. It does not deal damage. It goes through enemies. It doesn't do anything else. It's just to open the exit, but it's only 10 coins. Getting 10 coins Unless like, you're like a speedrunner, like you're like rushing through, like even then, like 10 coins, you just get them. It's there's no difficulty to it at all. It's not like in Sonic where it's like, oh, I got hit, I lost coins. No, you just get. I don't understand. That's how it works. It's I don't understand. Really, it's just a little bit of a tax. Like, oh, you beat this level. Here's a 10 coin tax. It means nothing. But there is an end game because depending on how many coins you get, it's kind of like Luigi's Mansion, which that's a high score. I guess that's another way to use money. It's kind of a high score. Rogue did that. But yeah, depending on how much money you have, you get different endings. There's 4 different endings. But there's all these treasures. There's all these secrets because the level design in this game, like the secrets are really well hidden. Like invisible blocks. It's like a room with on one end there's a regular block, and on the other end there's nothing. And so you're like, what if there's an invisible block? And then, oh, look at that. And you jump on and you like jump out of the level, kind of. Or there was this one part, but it looks like there's just like an empty abyss, but actually you can just walk on through. Like there's an invisible ground, And often, there's also like you gotta get a key. And there's like this door that actually hurts you. It's like a skull with spikes, but there's like a keyhole. And it can actually hurt you. It's really annoying, actually. So you have to like get the key, put it in, and like Tiny Wario can't carry the key. Because when he gets hit, it actually turns into Tiny Wario. Like how Mario does. And then when he gets garlic, he like becomes his big self. Really cool, actually, how Wario also has like a tiny form. But yeah, you get all these treasures. But even if you get all the treasures in the game, every treasure has a value. And you also save money. Like when you complete a level, you also keep some of the money, like all the money actually that you have left from the level, and it goes into this bank account. And at the end of the game, you need to have I think that you might be able to not have all the treasures if you have like a shit ton of money. But really, you just get all the treasures, and then you also need like 1,000,000 coins or like 10,000. I don't know how many. But then that's how you get the better endings. But how? Why? Why do you get the better endings? Because I'll tell you the story now. Because the story is really funny. So at the end of the game, you get to Captain Syrup's tower. She has a giant tower with a giant skull on it. And so you platform your way all the way to the end. And you actually arrive in her room. In her bedroom, and it's like a really girly bedroom. She has like a portrait of herself with hearts, something, like curtains around it. Like, oh look, this is me. And she has like a king size bed, and she's like laying on it. Like, what are you doing here? Get out of my room! Get out of my room, mom! Get out of my room, Wario! I mean, that's what's it. It's like like in Wario Land the Shake dimension, Shake It. They like redesigned her, and it's really not a very good redesign. She looks like an old lady, kind of like, it's really like, like the way she looks like in sprite form actually looks way better. She has like really big earrings, like really, it's really like old lady-esque. It really doesn't look very good. But like, it's kind of like funny, like, cause I really like imagine more of like this teenage girl more. Like it's like, oh my god, like what are you doing in my room, Wario? Get out! But what happens is right next to her bed is a giant, like a really big genie lamp with like a skull in it, like a little skull. And she starts rubbing her lamp. And out comes a giant genie. Giant genie. And this is the final boss. And she's like on the back of him. And the genie's like, oh, I'm gonna throw enemies, and you have to like jump on clouds and hit him in the head. And I actually managed to like kill him like really quickly. Like, well, on multiple like I kind of sped run, like I really like practiced. I did beat him like regularly, but then I managed to like speed run it. But it's like you can like jump at the cloud and get like 2 hits in. That was really hardcore of me, a hardcore gamer, yeah. But anyway, you defeat her, and then what happens is she throws a bunch of bombs. That's it, like she blows up her own tower, blows it up, just insane. So what happens is like Wario, like she blasts off like Team Rocket. Wario's like exits, he runs out. And then what happens is the entire tower like breaks down, explodes, and hidden inside the tower was a giant golden statue of Princess Peach. I'm not shitting you. I am not shitting you. Or Daisy, because when Super Mario Land came out, it was kind of like presumed that Mario's new love was going to be Daisy. You know, that was actually very normal. You know, it's probably also why in the Super Mario Brothers movie, why Daisy was like, why she was in there. I don't know. Or was I didn't see that movie. I didn't see that. But like, so it could have been Daisy. I don't know. Some princess. Giant, and it was like shimmering, so it was probably gold. You know, so you're like, holy shit, Wario just found the jackpot. But then, and this is so funny. It's so funny. Like, this is so out of character. But what happens is Super fucking Mario. Super Mario. The Super Mario has a helicopter. This is a little helicopter. And he flies on in. And there's like an M on it. So, you know, his head is like poking out the helicopter, you know. You know, it's really tiny, you know. you get it, right? But it's like an M on it, you know. So it's not Luigi. It's Mario. And he like flies on in very slowly. And he just waves at Mario like, you might as well just raise his middle finger. Hey, sup, bruh? Sup, bruh? And he has this like really big magnet. Well, compared to the helicopter, right? Like the same size. This magnet comes out from the bottom, and he just picks up the statue. And again, he's like, hi, bye, and he flies off into the horizon. Like he flies off to the left, and then all the way in the background, you know, you got like this black dot with like a giant black, like this rectangle under it, you know, and he just flies up to the horizon. And Mario, he's just like, oh, okay, I guess that was something. You know, he's not mad or anything. You know, Mario totally fucking robbed him. But it's just so funny, because you gotta imagine that Mario now owns a giant castle. And he just has a giant statue of Princess Peach, a golden statue. It's amazing. You know, they always show Mario living in like this little shack. Oh, he's so modest. No, man, the guy has a fucking mansion. And a giant statue. Oh, man, have you ever played The Sims 2? You know, I always had like a giant gorilla statue in my front lawn. You know, the one with the banana. That was great art. The fucking gorilla. That's what he had. He had a giant Princess Peach statue. Oh, it is so good. So then Mario, he goes to the genie, and the genie is going to grant him one wish. And Mario, he wants a house, he wants a mansion or something. But genie is like, okay, well, it'll cost you. Yeah, and depending on how much money you have, yeah, I don't know, like, I guess, like, the spell costs money, or maybe he just wants to be paid, you know, like, oh, yeah, well, you didn't rob my lamp, she did, you know, whatever. You know, did she pay him as well? I don't know. So you got these 4 endings. The worst ending is you get like a little, like a birdhouse on a pole, or maybe it's like a post box. I don't know. It looks like a birdhouse. The second worst one is just a house. You get a house. Very normal, very, yeah. The canon ending, and the second best ending, is he gets the castle. Right? He gets the castle. The best ending, I don't understand. Because what happens is he gets the moon, I think. His face has his moon has his face on it. And then Wario jumps on top of the moon. And he's just, you know, he's about as big as the moon. I really don't get it. You know, he owns the moon. I don't know. But that's the best ending. So that was, you know, it's weird because it does make some sense, you know, because Wario loves money, but he also loves having like a giant castle, right? So it is a pretty good purchase for your money, but it doesn't really, you know, especially like the whole coin throwing stuff, that didn't make any sense. But it's kind of like fun as like an optional, as like, you know, a high score, you know, like an ending, you know, like different endings. Guess that's a kind of a good use for money. And you still gotta like explore, and getting those treasures is really fun. So, you know, good use for money. But then we get to Wario Land 2. And Wario Land 2, I don't really like that much. It's really like the stepping stone to Wario Land 3, which is like way better. Wario Land 2, you know, it was a lot of experiments, but I don't really like the missions. There's some things I really don't like about it. The way it works is that game also has multiple endings, and it has all these levels, and the levels aren't all just about getting to the exit. Actually, the later levels are more like that. The earlier ones have different like goals, so it's like get all the chickens, or shut off the Wario's alarm clock or something. Or like do this, you know, it's at the end of the day, you know, it's like, oh, just get to the end of the level, you know, maybe defeat a boss. But there's all these endings, and there's all these different bosses at each ending as well. And actually the story again is that Captain Syrup is going to steal her money back from Wario, because it's like, yes, he's got this castle, but there's also like money in the castle, and he's trying to get it back. Actually, one of the paths, one of the secret paths, just involves Wario just not waking up and just laying in bed, and then like Captain Syrup's like minions grab him and carrying him off into the ship. Yeah, it's actually, it's kind of funny. It is, it is funny. You just carry him off, and then he has to escape. Yeah, but like the bosses are different because in some bosses you're finding Captain Syrup. In other ones you're just fighting a monster. Like Captain Syrup is stuck in like a bubble. Oh, get me out! Get me out of here! Or she's floating around on a teacup. Like, get it? Because her ship is called the SS Teacup, so she's in a teacup, and it's like kind of like her clown car. It's like Bowser's clown car, but it's a teacup, and it's pretty funny. Yeah, but the problem is what I found annoying is that in every level there's a treasure, but if you don't find the treasure, you can't replay the levels until you've done an ending. Which it's a little bit of an OCD thing. I have like a mild OCD. It's like I want to kind of go back to that old level, but you first gotta finish you gotta finish one of the paths. Okay, that's kind of annoying, but it's fine. Where it gets really annoying is the treasure chest itself. Because there's two things. Okay, so every level has a treasure chest with a treasure in it. But it's like like an item like a pencil, or it's kind of like a racist looking African mask. Really like one of them is like, yeah, okay, this maybe like maybe the one was a Game Boy. It's like kind of like those, right? Or maybe it's just like an X. But there's also a treasure map, and each level, there's actually every time you beat a level, there's also a mini game. And if you could beat that minigame, you get a piece of a treasure map. And if you get the full map, you get like a bonus level, which like the designers have figured out all of this tech, but it's kind of like difficult tech. So it's like, well, we'll put this in the final level. You have to do all these tricks. So it's like you got to do like a slide. So it's like if you do the shoulder bash and then duck, you just like a ducking slide, like. Or you can do like a duck jump, and also it's kind of like advanced tech. And also like the level has like a really weird background with like mouths and eyes and noses on it. It's a fun level, so it's kind of like a good reward. But the issue is, okay, in levels, coins are very rare. Instead, you gotta like bust through walls, and then you find all these big coin rooms with like regular coins, but also like really big Wario coins, and those are really fun to collect. Really, like, it is fun to like explore levels because you don't want to rush through them. Again, like you do want to explore, but there's technically no reason to explore at first. And so there needs to be a reason for you to get the coins, because they can't just have you get the coins for nothing. But it is really fun to get them, right? So the problem comes in by, okay, so you in the level, you find a treasure chest. In order to open the treasure chest, you need to play a minigame. The minigame sucks. It sucks. What it is, they show you a panel, and then they have like these 8 panels, which for a time they show them, and then you have to, then they cover them again, and you have to pick the picture. Which it is kind of nice that they show you the picture you need to pick first, because otherwise it would be impossible. Like if you had to memorize all 8 of them, and then they show you which one. But the way it works is that there's easy, normal, and hard, and you pick the difficulty, and like the difficulty is like the amount of time you get to look at them is shorter. Okay? Thing is, easy costs 150 coins. Normal costs 100 and hard costs 50. So the more difficult it is, the more money you save, right? Now the money you can spend on this is only the money you found in that level. So, and also if you beat the level, the coins you have left get added to like a big total, which are like used for the second minigame. So you do want to save as much money as possible. The first problem comes in is hard is hard. It is almost impossible. Seriously, it's a waste of money. And that creates a problem because you do want to do the hard modes, right? Because it saves more money. If you fail, you're going to do it again. Okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to do hard again? Because that's 100 coins. Even if you get it, that's 100 coins. You may as well have just done normal. Okay, because what if you fail? What if you fail a second time? And what, do you do hard again? You just spend 150 coins. What if you fail again? So then you might say, okay, I'm going to try hard. If I fail that, I do normal. Okay, you spend 150 coins. Just do normal. Like it's not worth the risk. because it's really impossible. Really, the best way to do it is what I kind of figured out, or like theorized, because I haven't tried it, is you just look at the left, because you cannot look at all 8. You gotta look at like the 1/4. You gotta look at the half of them, like the 4 on this side, and if it's there, you can just pick it, right? If it's not there, it's in the other one, and then you got like a 1 in 4 chance to pick it. So it's like 50-50. If you fail the 50-50, 1 in 4. That's kind of like how you gotta do it. However, what I did, because I actually played all these games on the 3DS, the virtual console, and there, because when you try pausing the game, the screen just goes black, because they don't want you to cheat. Well, on 3DS you can cheat, because if you tap the bottom screen, it like pauses, right? And you don't even need to use save states. Like the screen just pauses and it like goes a little bit dark, but you can just see it. So I would just pick hard every time. And then just do the trick. Because you do not want to spend 150 coins every time. Even like 100 coins, like even normal, because the problem also is it gets boring, because there's like 50 levels. And you gotta do this minigame 50 times. It is hell. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I like doing minigames, sure, but this is way too much. Way too much. It's doing easy that many times is boring as hell. So you do want to do, like, you want to be challenged. But if you pick hard, hard is like a little bit too, it's not that skill-based, honestly. Because if you just... You cannot look at these 8 pictures a day at one time. I don't know I don't care how good you are. It's just not doable. It's kind of like in a Pokemon X and Y game, when you go to the hotel and it's like, oh, remember all these orders. We're not all like, we don't all have the best, like, I have a pretty good like short-term memory. I have man limits. Okay, like it's not happening. So it just sucks. Because you got the motivation of having fun, and then we got the money situation, Because if you get it wrong a bunch of times, you run out of money. You gotta restart the level, because the level only has a limited amount of coins. It's terrible, and you need to have money left over for the second minigame, and that's where the second minigame, the way it works is that there's like these 9 panels. And each one of them, like, every panel that flips costs like a certain amount of coins. And the idea is that there's a shape of a number, right? So it's like if you got the number 3, it's like, here's a line, so these 3, and then there's here like a short line, so this panel actually has nothing on it. And then there's like the bottom line, right? And there's like a line here, it's a tree. And you're supposed to guess that. Of course, certain numbers look like each other, depending on which panels are flipped. So that's kind of pretty good minigame where it's like you gotta use your logic, right? That's a really good one. So yeah, you need to have those leftover coins, because that's all gets added to a total. Like you can just grind those coins, really. And that's what those coins are used for. When you've beaten like a level one time, an ending, this minigame changes. So now instead of, because it kind of goes in like turns, where it's like one flips for like 50 coins, and they get a guess. And they can say, give me another one, flip another one. In this more advanced version, money just keeps draining. And every time a certain amount of money is drained, another panel flips. So there's a time limit, so you can't just think about it. But the game's pretty easy, like it's not that hard. And like if you do the trick with like the treasure chest, you'll have plenty of money. So there's kind of like, if you don't have a lot of money, there's a pressure there. But it's a way better minigame. But yeah, in general, like, getting those coins was fun. But the minigame just sucks. It just sucks. It just sucks so bad. Because I want to do hard, but the minigame's not fun. It's this problem where like, I can do easy because that's not fun and it costs more money. But it's just a problem. It just sucked. That's all I can say about it. It sucked. But I liked collecting those coins. Anyway, but after a while you don't have a reason for it. That kind of sucks. So now we get to Wario Land 3. Wario Land 3 still has kind of a problem with the whole money, because this time the treasures are like, the way treasures work are way better, because every level, every mission is a treasure, right? You get the key, you get the treasure chest, an item comes out, this helps you progress. Okay, great. There's also these music coins, there's like 8 music coins, And if you get them all in one go, which is impossible at the beginning of the game, because you do not, all the, if you've played the game, you get what I mean, right? Really, like, it's a really interesting game on the game design perspective. Really good game, honestly. But like, if you get all 8, you get like, if you do that for every level, you get like a special, there's a golf mini game. And that's really where the money comes out. Actually, everything has to do with this fucking golf mini game. This is a good golf mini game. I like this golf mini game. But the way it works is, it really should have just been an optional mini game. It really should have. Because the way it works is that this time you get coins out of blocks. There's just blocks everywhere, breakable blocks, and coins come out. Now the sound effects of these coins is amazing. Because in the beginning the coins aren't worth a lot, but as the game goes on, like the coins get different colors. But it's just regular small coins. It's not like the big coins. Those big Wario coins are really cool to get. But the sound effects, oh man, when they plop out, oh, super good. Great sound effects, great sound design. So you get all these coins just by breaking blocks, really not very interesting. But sometimes you might just, like, some levels just need to be beaten because there's just this gray block that says minigame on it and it's blocking your path. And then there's a door somewhere that leads you to the golf minigame, and when you beat it, the block goes up. So in order to play this golf minigame, you have to spend coins. And as the game progresses, the coins amounts get so high, like, honestly, like, luckily, if you're bad at this golf minigame, you might have to grind money, and you do not want to do that because it's just destroying blocks. Like, this isn't like Ratchet and Clank where you can just keep killing enemies and stuff, or like Kingdom Hearts where you can just grind on enemies, which is kind of fun. Grinding, like, money, it's fun when it plops out of a block. It's not fun to go around, like, destroying all blocks, like, over and over again. It's not. So, eventually, like, the amount gets really big. And it gets kind of scary because, like, you don't want to fail. Luckily, the golf mini game, well, if you're a kid, it's probably pretty tough. Luckily, the course is not set. It's like difference between, and some of them are just easier, right? So it's like you can just keep trying. It's a fun mini game though. It's like very well done. And yeah, if you get all the music coins in every single level in one go, you get like an extra, like a 9 course golf course. You get. Okay, that's kind of cool. But it's kind of annoying when the minigame's kind of forced on you. It's really not, like, it's a real bad use of money. Where it's like, Wario likes collecting money. He does. But Wario, why is he spending money? It makes sense for him to get a different treasure. As a use of... Because getting money is fun. Like breaking those walls. In this game, they also break walls, but it's more just to get to the big treasure. And sure, he does get to take all these treasures home and stuff, right? And, but it doesn't... It's just fun to get them. And that's kind of the fun thing about Wario, is he just wants money just to have money. He doesn't want to buy anything. He just wants money. He does, So why can't I just want money? Why can't the money just be like an end in itself? But no, instead it has to be, I had to spend on this golf mini game. And like really, that's a really lame way of like ending a level. Where it's like, oh, in this level I once again have to play a golf mini game. Okay, that's not interesting though. Like the bosses are fun. Simply just getting to the end of a level by doing a puzzle, that's fun. Finding, like, it's like, oh, you gotta find the mini game, and now you gotta find the block that went up. Okay, not that interesting. So Wario Land 3, not a very good use for money. Wario Land 4, like, I don't know why people like it. It's okay. There's huge problems with it. I don't understand. Like, even the speedrun stuff is not that fun because it's not that well developed yet. Like Pizza Tower really like ran with it, But like, I don't get it because in this game Mario once again has health. It's just not good. Like, but some enemies still give him like transform him, and now you don't know which one they are. Like, actually, the best part of the game I found was those secret rooms where you go through a pipe and you have to like use this professor guy to like. Those were really fun. Those were like kind of like Wario Land 2 like final level, but it's like you're experimenting with all the mechanics. That was like the best part, where the design was the best, I thought. Money, however, in this game, absolutely super duper sucks. The way it works is you just get money in the levels, right? Like enemies drop money, they all drop money, everything drops money. You pick up the money, And the way it works is boss battles have this store. They have this store where you can buy there's this little black guy, this little black man. And actually like he's selling all of these because you can buy attacks. And when the boss fight, actually when you buy one of them, the boss fight immediately starts and the black guy just like the Mr. Game & Watch looking guy just deals damage to the boss. Depending on what you bought. Actually, there's also like a free option where he just blows you a kiss, like oh, mwah, it's free. Oh, mwah, mwah, mwah. It's very cute. This mechanic sucks. The first reason why it sucks is you don't spend the money you found in the level. Instead, there's an in-between. There's multiple currencies. The way it works is that there's these 3 arcade games, right? And you gotta spend the money on the arcade games. And sometimes, very rarely, there's like a sale. It's like, oh, this arcade game is half price off now. And you don't buy the arcade game, you spend money in the arcade, right? And then when you do well in these games, that's where you get the coins you need for the shop. Problem, these games suck. You know, this is one of those up moments where it's like, this should have just been an unlockable game. Because why can't I just spend the coins from the worlds, from the game, like the levels, directly in the shop? It is, like, one of the minigames is the dinosaur you have no internet game, where Wario has to jump over stuff. Problem. Huge fucking problem. How many coins you get depends on how many things you jumped over. The game starts out super slow. Like 1, 2, 3. It's so slow. And by the time it picks up, your hands are starting to sweat. So, like, it takes so long. So, really the only way to get a good amount of coins is to, like, go on for really long. And that's the case for all these, like, minigames. And it just sucks. It's not fun. It is not fun. Because you just fail, and then you're like, oh, my hands got sweaty, I didn't time it correctly, and now I gotta start over. You know, really, the coins aren't even the problem. Like, really, I don't understand why they even cost coins. I don't get it. There's no point in it. Oh, like, this one's half priced. Who cares? I don't like doing these games. They suck. The second one is a baseball minigame, where you gotta, like, hit the ball at the correct time. Okay. It kind of feels like one of those gadgets from Mario Party Advance. Mario Party Advance, very good game. They had like apps, like those gadgets you unlocked, they were like mobile ads. Those were really cool, like they were really funny. One of them was like a screen cleaner where you cleaned your screen. That one was great. One of them was like where you held in front of your face and Mario's face would be there, like his mouth. And if you pressed the button, his mouth would open so you could like pretend to be Mario. They were great. The thing is with this minigame is you had to hold the Game Boy Advance on its side. And it's just not, it wasn't comfortable. I could not time this. It was, you kind of could hold it like regular, but like, it was really difficult. Everything was really tiny, and like, it just felt like the interns. Like, this very much felt like the interns had to do this, like the new one. And that's fine. It makes sense, but it wasn't fun. And so, but the third game, this one was probably the best one. This was kind of like one of those WarioWare DIY micro games where you had to like, he showed you these pieces of a face, right? Like eyes, nose, mouth, and you had to pick the correct ones. But instead of just picking the correct ones, they would rotate around one at a time. So first eyes, all these 4 eyes, and then you had to time it. Which like the hit detection on this was like really annoying. Especially in later levels where there was like 6 of them. And then sometimes the hitboxes would like, you'd think be like, oh, I'm going to press now. But it was actually it was like in between, and then it picked the wrong one. It sucked. It was so slow as well, like eyes, mouth, nose, mouth. And it's like, you did kind of forget about it because it was so slow. Probably best one. I hated that one. I didn't like playing any of those. But here's the part where it even made even less sense. Because I didn't even want to buy any of the power-ups. Because I wanted to beat the bosses on their own. I did, I don't want to cheat. I want to beat them fair and square. Because it's not even like these bosses were that difficult, right? The problem, though, is you do want to see the animations. Because these animations were really fun. Like one of them, the guy throws an apple. One of them, he shoots a cannon. It would have been so much better if I could have just seen bought the animations and just look at the animations. It honestly would. Because you do want to see the animations. But it's like, you can like grind out coins to what? To see an animation? And also, if you beat the boss, you couldn't refight them. You couldn't. So if you if you use, let's say you want to see, so I want to see the apple throw one. Okay, so you use the apple throw one, then you win. Okay, now I can't see the other ones. It sucked. It sucked so hard. And the best part is there's a hard mode, and there's also like a super hard mode. On the hard modes, you can't buy the most powerful animations. You can't even get them. But that's exactly where I would need them. You know, like maybe if you're really bad at the game, you know, if you're like a child and you're like, oh man, I can't beat the boss, I'm just gonna grind out these really hard mini games. To what? To like just have the guy just use the cannon to like shoot off half the health? Okay, what if you get sweaty? What if you like panic and you fail anyway? That sucks. But the best part is on the hard mode, not only could you not buy the most powerful ones, but even the less powerful ones were more expensive. So it's like, oh, you wanna have like some help on these hard bosses? Well, you're gonna have to even pay. You're gonna play the shitty mini games even more. And I was like, this is so shit. Because I want to see the animations. Just show me the animations, please. I'll buy. Oh, why can't I just spend the money directly on the shop? Why do you have to play these stupid mini games? I hated that shit. It was so bad. It was so bad. Just terrible. Stop making me play mini games and then have me spend money on the mini games. Why? Like the mini game on its own? Okay. Why do I have to spend the money just to be allowed to play it? Just to get a thing? Can I just spend the money on... It's so weird. It's so weird. It's like money in video games. You either spend it directly on the thing you want, or you buy it to unlock a minigame. That's usually how it works, right? Because a minigame is a reward. An item is a reward. You spend it on a minigame in order to get an item. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Then we get to Wario World. Wario World, like that's the one. I still haven't played Wario Land Shake It. I could have, but I didn't. So I don't know how money works in that game. Not that it like matters. Like, but in Wario World, it's also weird because money in that game is completely useless. It just is. Like, if you're even remotely good at the game, it just is useless. Although, like Wario does have this power to like suck up the coins. So it's like and he sucks them all up in his mouth, his big mouths, because he can do that. He can suck up the money. Really, in Smash Brothers, his neutral special really should have him like suck enemies in, because like the mouth on its own really sucks. It does. Like you got like put your body inside of them and then press B. It's really not. You know, it's really not good. It is a command grab. You know, it should have been more like, you know, I mean, Wario in general just should be redesigned to be more like Wario Land Wario, right? You know, like, I mean, when he does his back throw or his forward throw, really he should say, have a rotten day. But he doesn't, you know. Why doesn't he? He should. So Wario World, the first thing you can do is buy garlic from these machines, right? It's like, you know, they make this sun noise and they're like alive. And like, you know, the game's really not hard. So if you die, you do need to spend a bunch of money on a revive. And as the game goes on, like it costs more. But unless you're dying a lot, you have plenty of money. You have so much fucking money. It really doesn't matter at all. But where it gets really weird is the unicorn zone. When you fall down, you go to the unicorn lair. And the unicorn lair is really a really lame place. I do kind of like the idea though, because like instead of just making like it's kind of like in horror games, right? Like in some games you don't want the player to die, you just don't, because maybe that reduces the fear. Because every time if you have a game where like a horror game where the player gets hit like you know, they get grabbed by the bad guy a lot, it does kind of make them less scary. So I did think like I thought it was a good idea to have the player sent to like a nightmare dimension, have to like leave the nightmare realm. And like the nightmare realm is like really scary in its own way. You know, like maybe they have like a, I don't know, but like maybe it's just kind of like a like there's nothing there to kill them, but it's kind of like a scary place. You know? Yeah, I guess that's kind of like, you know, one episode of SpongeBob where the Flying Dutchman, you know, throws the Squidward, you know, he opens the zipper and it's like, ah, and Squidward just falls forever. That was fun. That was fucked up. But yeah, so this unicorn lair has all these flying like unicorns with these weird like heads with like they have like rhinoceros noses, and there's all this water, and if you touch the water, you lose money. If you touch the unicorns, you lose money. But really, like the money losing part doesn't even matter. Like who cares? Oh, I lost money. What do I care? I don't care. What I want is I want to get out of here as soon as possible because the sound is annoying. You gotta destroy all these boxes and you gotta find like a spring to spring out of there. That's what you gotta do. And it's just you just want to do this as fast as fucking possible, as fast as possible because you just want to go on with the game. You know, it's nothing interesting about being here. You know, it would have been more interesting if you had to defeat a unicorn. You know, like it doesn't. It's like it doesn't even take it long. It's just annoying, and I don't get it. Like the whole money losing thing doesn't matter. There's plenty of money. You know, again, like maybe if you die like the bosses, like you know, like the one, you know, the pig guy in the speedo. That was a pretty tough boss. You know, like figuring out how to beat him. So I can see someone dying on that a lot of time. You know, like a kid, or someone's just really bad and not good at video games. But otherwise, you know, like, and even let's say you were really bad. Okay, you run out of money. Now you gotta go grind money. Because like, or you gotta get good. That's not a solution, really, is it? It really isn't. So no, like it's not interesting because you keep getting all this money, and like the mini game, actually the mini levels are kind of fun. You know, like the platforming ones or the puzzle ones. Those are fun, and there's like coins in those. But it's like, you know, these coins are even really fun to collect because they're like they're really tiny, you know, really thin, and they don't make a very satisfying sound. You know, it's getting this problem where it's like Wario, he's collecting all this money, but like, what does he do with it? Well, he buys garlic, or he buys a revive, or he loses it in a unicorn lair. Okay, well, I don't really get it, you know, because even like the game like it's implied that the final like there's different endings. But really, it has nothing to do with your money. It has to do with how many sprites you saved. And that's it. And then he just gets when you saved all of them, they just give him the best castle. I don't know, does money even matter? I don't think it does. Maybe it does. I don't know, I had plenty of money. So it wasn't fun to collect, and I didn't see any value in it. Okay. But then you got, my last game on list is Wario Master of Disguise. And I wrote this down I thought of this like a while ago. I haven't played it recently. So how did money work in Wario Master of Disguise? I really like this game. You know, this like like Wario Land. Wario Land 3 is it's like a Metroidvania, right? It was designed by the same people. It's like this bit, like every level is like a big map. You gotta like unlock power-ups, you know, like a better shoulder bash. You know, it's like Dark Souls or like The Legend of Zelda. I did a whole video on this. You know, but Master of Disguise is like the very typical, like, it's like a map like Metroid's, you know. But what I found really weird, because I got stuck in this game in the beginning, immediately. And it's like a story, it's a good story. So there's these treasure chests, and the first treasure chest is supposed to give you the space power-up, right? I could not open this treasure chest. I couldn't, because there was this icon. And what the icon showed was the stylus poking, like tapping on the treasure, and then the treasure in the little icon opens up. So I look at that and go, I'm supposed to tap the treasure chest. That's what the icon said. Nope. You're supposed to tap the icon. Yeah, so I guess what it implying was, if the stylus was kind of like outside of the little icon. So I guess it was like, oh, you tap the icon, the treasure chest opens. But why didn't they make it that tapping the treasure chest also opens it? Why? Really, it should have like shown on the picture. It shouldn't have shown like tapping on the treasure chest, but on the icon of the treasure chest. But it doesn't. I couldn't know. It took a while for me to figure this out. Really, it's a really good example of like why you should like playtest your UI really well, because this just happens. Like seriously, it looks like you're supposed to tap the treasure chest. So. How did money work in this game? Well, basically, every treasure chest is worth a bunch of money. Every treasure you find. And these are really fun treasures. Because you get like a whole catalog. And of course, the enemies are really fun. You got like this whole level full of dolphins. With one of them is like really muscly, and his attack is like he flexes and like a lightning ball just appears from his pecs, and like there's like a dolphin with an afro. There's this monkey that like runs up on you all angry, like and then when he gets to you, he turns around and farts as an attack. Brilliant. There's all these. It's like these knights, and there's one called Sir Lancelot, and then there's a gold one called Sir Word-a-lot. Get it? Or there's one like it's hopping around on like a pogo. It's like Sir Hops-a-lot, Sir Steal-a-lot. Funny stuff like that. And there's all these treasure chests, like all these treasures, like a totally legit UFO photo. And it's like a description says, oh, look, you can even see the UFO hang on a string. What will these crafty aliens think of next? Stuff like that. Or the Panda Panzer, which is a tank with a panda head on it, like in black and white. And, like, it's immune to everything, except squirrels, which are the natural enemy of the panda. So, really fun. But the way money worked is, I have completely forgotten. I don't remember. But every treasure was worth money. Yeah, and oh my god, at the end of the game, it's so funny because the way this game works is Wario's watching this television show about the Silver Zephyr, right? And so he builds a helmet that lets him go into the show. It's like reality shifting. He's skinning. Yeah, he gets in, right? And he and at the end of the game, he like leaves the world and he has all this treasure. But then he can't take the treasure out of the show. And so the Silver Zephyr just goes off with his money. He has all this money. That's pretty funny. Yeah, you do collect like a bunch of money. But like, what you spend it on? I don't... Nah, this is gonna suck. I completely forgot. I completely drew a blank on this one. What did you use that shit on? No, I think you just for game overs maybe. I don't remember. You know what? Let's just change the conversation here, because I actually forgot to tell you something about Wario Land 4, and this is super weird. The ending of Wario Land 4. Okay, so the story is Wario. There's this pyramid. So Wario is riding through the desert, right, in his purple car. The desert, the American. It's like all flat. It's like there's cacti. It's like the American desert because Wario is from Brooklyn. Mamma mia. I don't know. So, but then he arrives. There's this newspaper and it shows like a princess. It shows like a pyramid, and it shows like the professor because there's like a scientist. But I don't know what his name is. He's not named at all. But then he gets to a jungle, and he goes through the jungle. And then there's like in the jungle there's like a pyramid, like an Egyptian pyramid. I don't know what's happening. I don't understand. And in this pyramid, you find like this little black cat is like walking around. And at the end of the game, it turns out that this black cat was the princess of this pyramid. The ending depends on how many secrets you have, I think. Yeah, actually, one thing I found really weird is in Wario Land 4, there's like every level has like a ghost that's like a key. It has like a piece of like a door you can get in order to get to the final boss level. And the ghost is necessary to get to the next level. All the 4 pieces are necessary to get to the boss, but the ghost key was always like very close to the exit. I really don't understand. Like it really wasn't. You could miss it, but you basically never would. I didn't really get it. But like the ending is really weird. So the worst ending, which is actually the funniest ending, is where the princess turns back into a princess, right, from a cat. In the worst ending, she turns into like a Wario princess, and that's like really funny. It's kind of like Super Mario RPG where Bowser and like the Wario looking guy like kiss Mario. That's kind of funny. It's like Mario's like, look at this. She's just like me. Ah, no, get away from me. It's really like kind of hypocrite, man. Oh, what a hypocrite. It's like a Wario princess. The thing though is, well, actually, the other 3 endings, it's so weird. What happens is she turns into herself but a different age. And it's really creepy. I don't understand it. Really, they shouldn't have done this. They should not have done this. Because what it works is the second worst ending. She turns into like a toddler. Like she's like 5 or something. And then she kisses Wario, and Wario's like on his cheek is like, It's like, yeah, you know, what's going on here? And then like the canon one, where if you played Super Smash Brothers, like she has a spirit in Ultimate, and that it's like the second best ending. And then she's like 16 or something, where she also kisses Wario on the cheek, and again he's like, but like, and then she also like flies off to heaven or something. Yeah, she's a princess of like a pyramid, in a desert, in a jungle, in a desert. I don't understand it. But the best one is she's 18, and she's also like in silver, and she has like, you know, I don't get it. But this one she kisses him, and it's like, oh yeah, I got the best ending. Wario's gonna win. Wario is not going to jail. It's really weird. It's so weird. Like Wario has to deal with like girls wanting to kiss him a lot. Actually, you know Mona from WarioWare, like she has a crush on him. She's like in high school, and Wario's like, get away from me. What else your problem? Why do you work? I should fire you. Mamma mia. What the fuck's with all these children? Yeah, I don't know. Like Wario's just like he's unlucky. You know, they should really leave him alone. Yeah, but also like the final boss in Wario Master of Disguise. It's like a Princess Peach looking woman. That's kind of fun, like ending. Like the music is really good in that game too. But then when the boss fight starts, she's like a really pretty, like Princess Peach lookalike. But then at the end, she's like an ugly one. Where it's like, oh, she has all this makeup, and she's, you know, the Wario is very much about all the, you know, everything's very ugly. Which, you know, I don't like the new WarioWare games because they're not ugly anymore. You know, they're like, oh, everything has to be cute. You know, everything has to be like, you know, like how Ashley said like this pop song. You know, now like you know, Dr. Krieger's like daughter also had like a pop song. And it's like, okay, why is everyone getting a pop song? You know, even Wario Land 4, you know, like Wario Land 2 and 3 and 1, 2, and 3, like the music was supposed to sound like farts. You know, Miyamoto was very specific about that. And then 4 there's just like you know, the first level there's like this little pop song. It's like, yeah, it doesn't really fit, you know. It's like, Wario's gonna be farts. I'm gonna stick a shit. I'm gonna take a dump on your mother. I'm gonna shit down your throat. Yeah. It's gonna be farts. Right, because that's funny. That's funny shit. Wario, you're gonna do shits. Yeah, get all these children away from me. I'm gonna fart at your mom. Okay. But yeah, that was kind of the end of my story. Really wish I would remember what happened in Wario Master of Disguise. Actually, I got the game. Right here. Let me take a look. Maybe it's on the back. Let's see. Where is the motherfucker? Here we go. Wario Master of Disguise. Let's see if this jogs my memory, because you did collect a bunch of money. Collect treasure. Well, of course, it's not gonna be. Well, there's the manual. Of course, I can just read the manual. Notes, drugs, gambling. Got some notes here. Get some. What's the money used for? Yeah, I'm gonna read the manual for you. Let's see. Actions. This is the French one. I don't want the French. Here's the English one. Story. But wait, why is it German? It is the German one. There's like 4 languages in this one. That's a waste of money. Why did they just make like one for Wario Savant, which is like Professor Wario is Wario Savant in French. Wario Demon. Get the hell out of here. Give me the English version. The Dutch version, sure, whatever. Yeah, come on, Wario needs his money. What's in here? I'm wasting time here. This is ruining the video. So I guess my conclusion is, don't just use coins to lead players to things. You know, let money be its own reward. That's it. You know, like it's an extrinsic thing. Sure, but like, you know, let it be its own intrinsic reward. Sometimes it's fun to just like, collect some money. Just have it be like a challenge. That's a good one. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's like you get levels. The power-ups have levels. Yeah, and some of the treasures, or the stuff enemies drop, are just power-ups. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was like a part of it. The little power-up stones, we like powered up their strengths. Yeah, really that's most of this. Like it's... Yeah, there's really nothing about money in here. Whatever, you can just look it up. Whatever. It must have not been very important, because I don't remember. It's just, every treasure was worth a certain amount of money. And really the treasures was the best part, because they were fun. They had fun descriptions, And that's the fun part, you just make it fun. I guess that's the lesson here. Like, it's not about what you can buy with the money. It's about making the money fun on its own. That's it, like, where can we put money where it's fun to collect, where it's like a challenge? And making players spend money on a mini game and then rewarding them with money for beating the mini game or with an item, terrible. Just let them buy the item or let them buy the mini game. Don't do this. Don't do what Wario Land 4 did. It was so bad. And especially, like, don't give them power, I guess. That's another good one. Is, players want good challenges, but they also want to see everything. So if you put like the I want to see the animations, but I also don't want to have like, I want to beat the boss fair and square. It's a catch-22. Don't do that. But yeah, money in platformers, great. Like, put that in Gollum. Someone should mod that game to put like, make it a 3D collectathon. Would be so much better. It would. And you don't even have to spend it. It shouldn't even. You don't even spend on anything. Buy like something stupid. It should be like a joke. Buy a joke. Like that's the best thing if you can buy jokes. And those animations are kind of like that. You just buy a joke. I want to see something funny. Do that. It's like, if you could buy, those animations you could buy with microtransactions. You could buy animations like, precious. Just have them buy that, Remember when games used to do this? Just have them buy that, And then it's like, okay, or let them use it to shoot arrows. I guess Wario wouldn't like that. Yeah, don't waste my money. Anyway, that's it. I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Bye.